If you're watching this video, it's because procrastination is a recurring problem in your life. Procrastination was the main cause of the majority of my issues. When you don't do what you should and keep putting things off, all sorts of problems start to happen. Your output drops, anxiety starts to creep into your life, and you start avoiding responsibilities. Having the feeling that you're not doing what you should is the worst part. The Stoics were very worried about procrastination, and we can see this in the lives of historical thinkers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, who had many responsibilities and couldn't afford to procrastinate. It's not simple because we frequently favor getting our hands on something right away over making an effort. Finishing this one and beating procrastination go hand in hand, despite the fact that I go into more detail about this in my video on discipline, which I suggest you watch after you finish this one. You're watching this video because you want to change, be more productive, have control over your thoughts and actions, and stop procrastinating. You'll feel at peace with yourself when you start acting properly, so overcoming procrastination will also make you happy. A Roman emperor and historical philosopher named Marcus Aurelius had the same number of hours in a day as you and me to do his work and take care of his responsibilities. He had time to be an emperor, rule the largest and most powerful empire of antiquity, be a philosopher, writer, care for his wife, make laws, end trials, lead troops, and lead the Roman people through a terrible plague. He did all of this while staying fair and staying away from bad habits or pressures that other emperors gave into. Marcus Aurelius's ability to beat laziness and prevent procrastination was key to his success because he always had a routine and formed habits in his life. Having a routine is the key to not putting things off in the end. Everyone has responsibilities, and Marcus Aurelius made them a big part of his life. Just like we all need to eat, wash, and sleep, he made these responsibilities into necessities that he couldn't live without. We are what we constantly eat, as all great men throughout history understood, including Aristotle. Therefore, excellence is a habit, not an act. For Marcus Aurelius, the day started early, for instance. When you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious gift it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love, he said. He didn't have time to lie down in bed. He started the day by writing in his personal notebook, taking a few minutes to organize his thoughts and clear his mind, remembering what was important. Following that, he got ready to deal with his responsibilities and the people around him. The people you will meet today are rude, ungrateful, insolent, short-tempered, and selfish, he would tell himself. They will give birth to children and expect you to follow their wishes. Marcus Aurelius knew that these people could not change his mind or make him unhappy. He was clear that he should act in a manner that he thought was appropriate. Marcus Aurelius then began to start on his most important responsibilities. Begin the morning by telling yourself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, the haughty, the dishonest, the envious, and the unsocial, he advised. These things happen to them because they don't know the difference between good and bad. There is no room for procrastination, as evidenced by his routine. You're probably thinking how to act like Marcus Aurelius and beat procrastination, how to mentally get ready, and what habits to adopt. Don't worry. I'll tell you 7 tricks that helped me stop procrastination. They will be divided into 2 parts by me. The first part will talk about how to get your mind ready to avoid procrastination, and the second part will talk about what we can do to stop procrastinating. Alternately, change your focus. It's not a first-world problem to put things off. Since we can afford to do so, we procrastinate. If they ever procrastinate, ask someone who doesn't have enough to eat. We need to increase our sense of urgency when dealing with our responsibilities because the majority of us live relatively comfortable lives. We end up doing everything at the last minute when we procrastinate and have a deadline to meet our responsibilities. Whenever there is a deadline coming up, we seem to stop being lazy and start getting things done. Because of a sense of urgency, all of this takes place. For the purpose of carrying out your responsibilities, set your own limits. This will help you beat procrastination and increase your sense of urgency to get to work. How can you be sure you'll meet the deadline though? You could, for example, tell a family member or friend that you'll have to give them money if you don't finish your task by the deadline. Third, change how your responsibilities are set up. Some of the tasks we must complete are difficult or time-consuming, which can overwhelm us or make us nervous, making it highly likely that we will end up delaying gratification. In this case, what should you do? It's possible that you wouldn't be able to work for 5 hours straight without getting sidetracked. You said you could work for an hour without getting less than extra_id_1 greater than distracted. That's more likely. It's possible to do it for 5 minutes. Everyone is capable of uninterrupted work for 5 minutes. Applying this reasoning to longer or more difficult responsibilities, that is, breaking them up into smaller parts and focusing on each part as a single, shorter, and more doable task, will likely help us deal with our responsibilities more effectively and avoid procrastination. Take the first step, which is the fourth. The hardest part of any task is always getting started, as every procrastinator knows. When you start, you've already done the hardest part. Make yourself start. Don't think about how long the task will take to finish. Don't think about finishing everything that is difficult. Simply start with the first step. This step is the hardest, but it's also the most important. It will give you the drive to keep going with the second, third, and fourth steps. Another benefit of being a procrastinator is this. Because you know how difficult it is to start over or pick up where you left off, once you start, you won't want to stop. Fifth, the rule of 5 seconds. Another thing that helps me take the first step in my daily life is the 5-second rule, which is related to the last point. As the name suggests, this rule has you count from 0 to 5. When you get to 5, you start the task. To clear your mind, don't think about anything. Just start. Wait until you reach 5 before you start. I find this trick very useful in my own life. I count to 5 and then do something that bothers me without thinking about it. Sixth, the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro technique is a trick to divide your work time into more manageable chunks, making it easier to complete your tasks. If you think you have 5 hours of work ahead of you, it will be more difficult to start working. We can handle that time better if we divide it up using the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique calls for 25 minutes of uninterrupted work followed by a 5-minute break. One Pomodoro is the name for this. Take a 20-minute break after eating 4 Pomodoros, then do it again. Everyone is capable of continuous work for 25 minutes. Focusing on one act and 40 minutes of non-stop work is difficult, and we'd probably get sidetracked if we knew that doing 4 Pomodoros required us to work for an hour and 40 minutes with full focus and then a 20-minute break. Because we'd end up putting it off, we might not even start. But this trick lets you do work in 25-minute chunks, which is a length of time that everyone can handle. The 7th step is to get rid of any annoying actions. The easiest way is always what our brains look for. Remove any distractions from your work surroundings, such as your phone, a video game, or anything else that could confuse you. The only thing you can do is complete your task if you create an environment that makes procrastination difficult. Start by figuring out what is keeping you from doing your work. Once you know what they are, remove them from your workspace to make procrastination more difficult. What do you think of these procrastination prevention tips? I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments. Please remember that we need to be disciplined to follow all of the tips I gave you earlier. We will not be able to do anything if we are not disciplined and willing to change. I will leave you with 2 movies that are full of interesting history information that you will enjoy. Take care until next time.